we are second guessing here, and I don't super feel comfortable. Like, I mean, I'm showing my bias because I like Klopp and I think he's a good manager. We can go back, and we're playing Monday morning quarterback here. If they'd had a normal amount of injuries this season, we can all agree they'd be better off. So does it mean that Klopp really can't do any better with what he has?
No, I still think he's made mistakes along the way. I don't understand why Curtis Jones doesn't start the game against Brighton. It makes no sense for me.
Because he didn't start the game before either. He came on.
He came on against West Ham, and we saw James Milner sort of Klopp incidents where Milner is like, "Why are you taking me off?"
But you know, it's Milner, so he said it in a very kind, gentle way.
Still, and then Curtis Jones is the difference maker in that game, and then after that, you put him back on the bench, where you clearly lack so much creativity in that game. One shot on target against Brighton, and he only comes on for the last 10 minutes, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why can't you see that Curtis Jones is on a good dynamic after the West Ham game? He brings you something different that you don't really have. He can play instead of Shaqiri, even if you start him wide, and then he would come inside a lot and get on the ball and create and take on players, and that Shaqiri doesn't do anymore.
Or even, frankly, Wijnaldum and Milner. At some point, Wijnaldum has to take a break as well. And Milner's older. Don, I looked at the bench, and the guys who came on, and according from memory, it's Oxlade, Chamberlain, Jones, and Origi. Everybody else, they're all eyeball. It was Davies, and then it was the Williams brothers, who aren't really brothers, and Kabak. I know there's some dude I'd never heard of, Kane or whoever the hell that is. I mean, you're really stretched. If you're Curtis Jones, if you say, man, we have all these injuries, and I still can't get a start 2 games in a row against teams that we should be beating, does that play on your mind?
Yeah, you'd be frustrated. I think it's a similar situation than Phil Foden a couple of years back, or 18 months back, when we all thought, and Pep told the world he's the best young player he's ever worked with, but he couldn't necessarily get game time. I think Jurgen Klopp's just trying to get his best 11 on the pitch. I agree with Jules. Injuries has killed Liverpool. It doesn't take a genius to work out if you put Liverpool's best 11, they'll give anyone a game and they'll have a chance of winning the Premier League again. I just look at the bigger picture, and I just think a lot of these players now have gone to the well so many times. I think a lot of them are absolutely shot to bits. I don't think Firmino's as sharp. I mean, the strange thing is Mo Salah's topping the chart in terms of his goal scoring, but he's been awful. Apart from a couple of worldly goals against West Ham, his performances drive you crazy when you watch him. And I think that's what Jurgen Klopp was alluding to last night when he's saying some of my players couldn't pass from A to B. There was so many times Mo Salah had the ball and he had a simple 10, 15-yard pass to his left or to his right, and he kept giving the ball away. And that wasn't just last night. That's been happening for a long time.
All right. So how do we fix this? I'm sorry, no, just in terms of practical things, right? So I'm assuming it's important that Henderson goes back to midfield just for his leadership and whatever. I know people are like, oh, look, he did so well at the back. It's fine, but he doesn't give you any value added, right? Sorry?
He did okay.
He's okay. So can this guy Davies, can he step in and play at the back? Can Kabak play at the back?
The problem is the next game is Manchester City. And again, do you give your debut to Kabak or Davies at the back, or even Rhys Williams? Or do you play Rhys Williams and Phillips?
Don't. Stop it. Rhys Williams and Phillips at the back. Come on.
In 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, in 11 days, you've got Leipzig in the Champions League.
Don, what happens? Help me out here. What happens against City? Well,
who do you start?
What does Klopp do? The game is in 3 days. I mean, as we record this. And if you lose this, then you're 1,000,000 points back.
They've played one few. It's over.
And then the best you can do is hang on to finish top 4, yeah? The league is over?
Yeah, Liverpool are not in a title race. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. I think it's the hope that kills you. When they won 2 on the spin against Tottenham and West Ham, you thought, well, they'll beat Brighton, go into the City game, it gives them a bit of confidence. The trouble is, as we just said, the injuries are killing them. And it's not the fact that Liverpool are poor at the back. It's the knock-on effect when you take Fabinho and Jordan Henderson out of midfield. If you think about it, if you try and put Thiago in midfield with Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, you're talking about arguably the best 3 in Europe. People might argue Bayern Munich, that's absolutely fine. But there's a debate. There's a debate to be had. But when you take those 2 players out of central midfield, and they're well capable of playing at the back, it's not at the back that's the problem. It's the injuries at the back and the knock-on effect of putting midfield players in there. And then you know, you've got to hope and pray that Mane's back. You've got to hope and pray that Fabinho's back, because if he's back, he'll play centre-half. But he's got real problems.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.